The sun was already leaning toward the horizon when Ayan checked his watch for the third time. The amber light stretched long shadows across the road, turning the city into something softer, almost forgiving. He had promised himself that today would be different. Not dramatic, not heroic, just one good deed before sunset. Something small enough not to feel forced, yet real enough to matter. The idea had come to him that morning while sipping tea on his balcony. Another day off work, another list of things he could do and probably wouldn't. He had scrolled through his phone, past headlines filled with anger and despair, past images of people arguing, hurting, blaming. Somewhere between the noise and the numbness, he had felt a quiet exhaustion. Not from doing too much, but from feeling like nothing he did mattered. One good deed, he had whispered to himself then. Just one. Now, as he walked along the busy street, the promise felt heavier than he expected. What counted as a good deed? Holding a door open? Giving money to someone asking for help? Smiling at a stranger? Everything felt either too small to matter or too big to know where to begin. Traffic crawled beside him, horns blaring impatiently. Shopkeepers were beginning to pull down shutters, the metallic clatter echoing through the air. Vendors shouted last calls for fruit and snacks, hoping to sell what they could before evening prayer and dinner pulled people home. The city was winding down, but Ayan felt wound tight. He passed a man arguing loudly on the phone, a woman dragging a tired child by the hand, a group of boys laughing without a care. He wanted a sign, something obvious, a clear moment where kindness would be needed and welcomed. Then he saw her. She was sitting on the low concrete step outside a closed tailoring shop, a small cloth bag at her feet. Her back was straight, but her shoulders looked tired, as if they carried more than her thin frame should bear. She appeared to be in her late 60s, maybe older, with silver hair tucked neatly under a faded scarf. Her hands rested in her lap, fingers knotted together, not outstretched, not asking, just waiting. Ayan slowed his pace. He had seen many people like her before. Some genuinely in need, others perhaps not. The uncertainty always froze him. What if she didn't need help? What if she did, and he walked past anyway? The sun dipped lower, a reminder ticking in his chest. He stopped a few steps away. "Assalamu alaikum," he said softly. She looked up, surprised, then returned the greeting with a gentle nod. Her eyes were clear, steady, and carried a kind of quiet dignity that unsettled him more than desperation ever could. "Are you waiting for someone?" he asked, immediately worried the question sounded foolish. She smiled faintly. "I was," she replied. "But it's getting late." Something in her voice, calm, without complaint, made him linger. "Do you need any help?" he asked. For a moment, she hesitated. Not the hesitation of someone deciding whether to lie, but of someone weighing whether to burden another person. "I need to get home," she said finally. "It's not far, but my legs don't listen to me the way they used to." Ayan glanced down the road. "Where do you live?" She told him the name of a neighborhood he knew well. It was walkable for him, but for someone her age, especially after a long day, it could feel endless. "I can walk with you," he offered quickly, before doubt could talk him out of it. "If that's okay." Her eyes softened. "That would be kind," she said. They walked slowly, matching her pace. The city around them continued its rhythm, shops closing, lights flickering on, the call to prayer beginning to rise in the distance. For a while, neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't awkward, it felt earned. "My name is Ayan," he said eventually. "Safia," she replied. "Thank you for not rushing me." He smiled. "I'm not in a hurry." That wasn't entirely true. He was aware of the sun slipping away, but somehow, walking beside her felt exactly like where he was supposed to be. After a few minutes, she spoke again. "I used to walk everywhere," she said, more to herself than to him. "I raised 3 children on these streets. Ran a small stitching business from my home. I never thought twice about distance. What changed? He asked gently. Time, she said simply. And life. He nodded. There was no arguing with that. They passed a small grocery store, still open. Safia slowed and glanced at it, then looked away. Ayan noticed the movement. Do you need to stop there? He asked. She shook her head quickly. No, no. I have what I need. The answer came too fast. He didn't push, but as they continued walking, he felt a quiet certainty grow inside him. Kindness wasn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it was about noticing the pause, the glance, the unspoken need. When they reached the next corner, he stopped. Please wait here for a moment, he said. I'll be right back. Before she could protest, he turned and walked briskly to the grocery store. He picked up a small bag of essentials, bread, milk, some fruit, lentils. Nothing excessive, nothing that would feel like charity thrown carelessly. He paid and returned, heart pounding as if he were doing something far more dangerous than buying groceries. Safia looked up in surprise when she saw the bag in his hand. I noticed you looked at the shop, he said, suddenly worried he had overstepped. I thought, maybe this could help. Please, only if you're comfortable. For a moment, she said nothing. Her hands trembled slightly as she reached out, then pulled back. Ayan felt a knot tighten in his chest. Then she exhaled and nodded. Thank you, she said quietly. You don't know how much this means. Her voice cracked, just enough to reveal what she had been holding together. They resumed walking, the bag now hanging from Ayan's hand, as if the act of carrying it belonged to him. Safia told him about her children, one abroad, one busy with his own family, one who visited when he could. She spoke without bitterness, only honesty. People assume loneliness looks loud, she said. But most of the time, it's very quiet. Ayan listened, truly listened, without trying to fix anything. He realized how rarely he did that, even with people he loved. They reached a modest house with a green gate just as the sky began to deepen into shades of purple and blue. The sun hovered at the edge, moments from disappearing. This is me, Safia said. Ayan set the grocery bag down gently. I'm glad we made it before dark, he said. She smiled, a full smile this time. So am I. You kept your promise, even if you didn't know it yet. He blinked. My promise? She gestured toward the sky. One good deed before sunset, she said, as if reading his thoughts. I could see it on your face when you stopped today. That look of someone searching. He laughed softly, a little embarrassed. Was it that obvious? To someone who has waited a long time, she replied, yes. The call to prayer echoed again, stronger now. Ayan felt something settle inside him, a warmth that wasn't pride, but peace. Thank you, Ayan, she said. For your time. For your kindness. For seeing me. He shook his head. Thank you, he said honestly. You helped me more than you know. As he walked away, the sun finally dipped below the horizon, taking the last of its light with it. The streetlights flickered on, one by one, illuminating his path home. He realized something then. The good deed hadn't ended when he left her gate. It lingered in his steps, in his breath, in the way the world felt just a little lighter. Kindness, he understood, didn't end at sunset. It simply began there, carried forward by those willing to notice, to stop, and to walk a little slower with someone else.